Hello and welcome back to Echo English Hub. Today, I want to take you on a little cultural journey. We're going to explore the fascinating differences between two European nations, the English and the Germans. Both countries are powerful, modern, and proud of their traditions. But when you look closely, their everyday habits and ways of life couldn't be more different. From the way they view time, to how they eat breakfast, to the drinks they enjoy, and even the way they communicate, there are countless little details that make English and German culture unique. By the end of this episode, you might even discover which lifestyle feels closer to your own. So, let's dive in. Let's begin with time. In Germany, punctuality is more than a habit. It's a value. If you agree to meet someone at 7 o'clock, they will probably arrive at 6:55. Being late, even by just a few minutes, is often seen as disrespectful or irresponsible. Germans grow up with this sense of discipline, and it's reflected not only in personal life but also in business, education, and public transport. Trains in Germany are famous for running on precise schedules, and people really expect things to happen on time. Now, compare that to the English attitude. Time is important, of course, but there is more flexibility. If a meeting is at 7 o'clock, arriving at 7:05 is not a disaster. People often joke about being late because of the traffic or because the bus didn't come, and usually, everyone laughs and accepts it. This difference in punctuality can be quite surprising for people who move from one country to the other. Imagine a German arriving early and waiting, while their English friend casually shows up 5 minutes late with a smile and an apology. It's a small example, but it reveals a lot about the mindset of each culture. Next, let's talk about drinks. If there is one thing that defines the English, it is their love for tea. Tea is not just a drink, it's part of the daily rhythm of life. Morning tea, afternoon tea, evening tea. Any time is a good time for a hot cup of tea. For many English people, tea is comfort. It's what you offer a guest, what you drink after a long day, and what you reach for when you don't know what else to do. In Germany, the story is completely different. Beer is the national symbol. Germans are proud of their beer culture, and they have countless varieties from light pilsners to dark lagers. Beer is more than just alcohol. It represents tradition, celebration, and community. Oktoberfest, the world-famous beer festival in Munich, is a perfect example of how central beer is to German identity. So, when you think of England, you might imagine someone with a delicate teacup, sipping politely. When you think of Germany, you might imagine someone with a giant glass of beer, laughing with friends. Of course, these are stereotypes, but they highlight the very different roles these drinks play in daily life. Food also tells a story. An English breakfast is famous around the world, and it is heavy. Eggs, bacon, sausages, beans, mushrooms, tomatoes, and toast. It's like a complete meal that could keep you full all day. For many tourists, trying a full English breakfast is a must, even though not every English person eats this kind of meal every day. Germans, on the other hand, prefer variety but in a lighter way. Bread is the star of the German breakfast. And not just one kind of bread. Germany is famous for its hundreds of bread varieties. A typical German breakfast might include fresh rolls, slices of dark bread, butter, cheese, ham, cold cuts, and maybe some jam or honey. It's a meal that feels simple but rich, and it reflects the German pride in their baking tradition. This difference shows how culture shapes daily habits. The English start the day with something warm and filling, while Germans start with something fresh and balanced. Both approaches make sense depending on the climate, lifestyle, and traditions of each country. Now let's look at communication. The English are known for their politeness. They love small talk, conversations about the weather, the traffic, or the latest football match. These topics might not be deep, but they are a way to connect without getting too personal. Politeness is important, and sometimes the English avoid being too direct in order to protect the feelings of others. For example, instead of saying, "I don't like this," they might say, "Well, it's not really my cup of tea." Germans, on the other hand, are much more direct. If they don't like something, they will tell you openly. Honesty is valued over politeness, and clarity is more important than softening the truth. Some people might find this a little too blunt, but for Germans, it's simply normal communication. There is no need to waste time with small talk when you can go straight to the point. This difference can cause misunderstandings. An English person might think a German is being rude, while the German thinks they are just being clear. At the same time, a German might find English small talk unnecessary, while the English person sees it as kindness. Where do people meet and socialize? In England, the answer is often the pub. The pub is not only a place to drink, it's a community space. Friends meet there after work, families go there on Sundays, and strangers can start conversations at the bar. The atmosphere is cozy, casual, and welcoming. In Germany, gatherings can take place in beer gardens, especially during the warmer months. Sitting outside, sharing long wooden tables, enjoying food and drinks together, it's a classic German experience. Social life also often happens at home, with big family meals or gatherings around the table. Germans love to celebrate with food, beer, and music, and the sense of community is strong. Both cultures value spending time together, but the style and setting are different. England has the pub, Germany has the beer garden. Both places are about connection, laughter, and stories shared with others. Another interesting area is work. Germans are famous for their efficiency. At work, they focus intensely on the task, respect rules, and value structure. Meetings are direct and to the point, and once the job is done, people go home. The boundary between work and private life is respected. In England, the work culture is also serious, but there can be more small talk in meetings, more humor, and more flexibility. Sometimes decisions are made less directly, and relationships are just as important as results. It's not unusual to discuss work over a drink at the pub, something less common in Germany. These differences show how each culture thinks about balance, discipline, and human connection in professional life. So, what do we learn from these comparisons? The English and the Germans live side by side in Europe, but their habits reflect very different histories, values, and traditions. One culture values punctuality above all, the other values flexibility. One enjoys small talk and politeness, the other prefers directness and honesty. One drinks tea, the other drinks beer. One gathers in pubs, the other in beer gardens. These differences are not about which culture is better. They simply show that human beings have many ways of living, and each way tells a story about the people who practice it. Whether you prefer the warmth of English tea or the strength of German beer, whether you like small talk or direct honesty, learning about these habits can help us understand each other better and appreciate the rich variety of human life. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this little cultural journey. Until next time.